Hey VC, what's up? It's yours truly. I am back to do a quick video response to Memphis Final Jim's last thread. There's actually a couple responses I'm going to do today. There's a few threads kind of floating around out there. One or two I did comment response to, and there's some that kind of require video, so I'm going to do that. But let me jump in and do this one real quick for Memphis Final Jim, which was simply show like one of your favorite album covers that has automobile on it or involves cars or something like that. So I just kind of picked out a few. I know it's not a contest where you have to show just one, so I just kind of picked out the ones that really just kind of popped right into my head, that when you say automobile, just kind of like what are the first albums I think back on where an automobile was a significant part of the cover. So it really caused some very cool flashbacks, which is kind of cool. But these are all the ones that I picked out, and I'll save my two favorites for last. But we'll start out here with, playing in the background, it's on iTunes, I'm sorry, it's Adam Ant, sorry, Wonderful. Very cool song. Here's the first one that I thought of, which was the Fat Boys' Crushin', one of their later albums in their career. And I always thought about this one because I always remembered, the three of them standing on top of like this old stretch limousine in an old junkyard or whatever, has Crushin' written on it. Then on the back, you see after they got off, it's all squashed down and everything. And that's just something I remember from my childhood that I don't know, it just stuck in my mind when I thought about cars on album covers. That one just immediately jumped in my mind. As well as this one, kind of the same thing, which is Neil Young's Transistor. And this one here, as you can see, one of the things that always sticks out in my mind about this cover is, you kind of have like this classic, what looks like maybe a '57 Chevy, and then this like space age, futuristic, whatever. And I don't know, again, it's just when it comes to cars, that's a cover that's just always stuck out in my mind. This was the album too where Neil was doing some of his experimental stuff with, the voice boxes and all that stuff. And my favorite song on this one is definitely Sample and Hold. I think I've talked about that song before, but just as a quick, to reiterate, I remember when I was really, really young. I mean, I'm talking maybe third grade, if that, something like that. But when he performed Sample and Hold, I think it was a German show he did in Germany or something like that. But I remember seeing that on TV way back then. And of course I had no idea who Neil Young was, just what show I saw it on, whatever. But I remember just hearing him do that song with that voice box and watching him perform live. I mean, it was just like flooring, and I never heard it again that day on. I mean, it was like literally decades. I had no idea who sang the song. I only heard it that one time, and then as I got more into music and stumbled across this, I realized it was Neil Young. That song still gives me the chills every time I hear it now. It's so cool. But anyway, kind of getting off topic there. That's another car one that sticks out in my mind. Here's another one too that always sticks out in my mind when you talk about cars on covers. This is Alexander O'Neal, which I don't know if you guys know him very well, but he was kind of big back in the 80s, 80s R&B singer. He did a lot of stuff with Sherelle. They were kind of a duo, yet they did a lot of solo stuff as well. And back in the day, I thought he was really cool. I never realized just like how his head was too small for his body, and he always wore like really fitted clothes and just all kind of cheesy stuff. When you look back on it, you realize he wasn't as cool as you thought, but still cool in my mind. But anyway, I always remember that Gran Torino that he had on the front of his album cover there, which is kind of cool. That's just something else that kind of stuck out in my mind. And then these are probably my favorite two automobiles. Again, not necessarily because of the car, but just from the feeling that the automobile is associated with the album, just the way it sticks out in my mind when I think about it. So in the number 2 spot, I'm going with Too Short. This is from Born to Mac, one of his earlier albums. Absolute old school classic right there. And I know the teacher will appreciate this because I know he loves this album. But this is they say Too Short, Born to Mac, and it's just him sitting in a convertible little caddy or whatever, and But you know, it's just one of those things where back when I was younger, you know, just this big white background with him sitting in the middle of that car. I mean, it's just a strong association that became with that album. So when I thought about this thread, that was one of the first ones that came to mind. And that's so defining of Too Short too. I mean, you know, it's just. And then of course the one that really just kind of pops out in my mind when you think about cars and rock bands and stuff like that. I mean, how can you not include ZZ Top? You know, that's basically their mascot, more or less, is that automobile. And it was really cool too because that car is actually at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so you can actually go there and check it out and, you know, take pictures with it and everything, which I did actually last time I was there. So it was kind of cool to see it in person. But when I think about cars, that's definitely the one that comes to mind because, you know, this car is to ZZ Top kind of like what Eddie is to Iron Maiden. It's just an immediate association. But so that's my entry for the cool car covers contest. And while since this video isn't very long, I want to share a couple of things that have come in the mail from the VC, stuff revolving around the collage, an award, not an award, but some stuff I got from Elbow Sauce as part of a contest that I won, and then just some other things that just very, very cool people sent. Let's just put it that way. So I don't think I've shown this one before, but this came from Christoper, which is a piece for the collage, which is a very cool postcard of Hendrix. It says pure vinyl culture, which is awesome. So Christoper, I appreciate that very much. And I don't think I put your name in the hat for that, so you'll get another name going into the hat. I need to do a drawing for something sometime soon too, so I can start pulling some of those names out. But your name will go into the hat for that. Elbow Sausage, I won his contest a little while ago, and the prizes that he sent over was Otis Redding and Jimi Hendrix Experience. So it was a very nice copy of that with Otis and Jimmy at Monterey. Very, very nice copy in very, very good shape. I actually have a copy of this album already, but I think this one is in a little bit better shape than mine, because this one looks pretty much like perfect. So that's a really nice deal that I can actually upgrade the one that I have. So Elbow, thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. That was a great prize. And then he also included a nice 45, which is Madonna Like a Virgin. It's a nice, very, very cool little 45 there, which is so cool because that again goes back to the nature of how unique we are in the vinyl community. I mean, when you just put it into context, a white guy from Texas sends a black guy in Missouri a 45 RPM copy of Madonna's Like a Virgin. I mean, it's like none of that fits together, which is what makes it so cool. So thank you very much for that, Elbow. I mean, I love that actually. It's just a very cool thing. And then Clarke, way over in London, actually. You know, I was mentioning to him about wanting to expand my horizons with, you know, electronic music and, you know, all that kind of stuff, house music and things like that, because I just don't have a very good working knowledge of it. I don't have just good knowledge of it, period. And if you guys remember a number of videos ago, I asked a thread question about if there was one genre within a decade that you could do without, what would it be? And one of mine was electronic music. So I've really been wanting to try to understand that more. And he was nice enough to really put together just kind of a full spectrum of stuff for me to really kind of check out and dig into. I mean, you got this one CD that sent here, as well as these 8 different burn CDs that he put together for me, which is really, really awesome. I'm looking so forward to going through all of these. You know, it's one thing to go out and, you know, get the newest vinyl release and pick up new things, and, you know, you spend 10, 15, 20 bucks for an album or something like that. But it's also something really kind of exciting just to get back to just the music of things. You know, I mean, as collectors, obviously, we collect and we like the music and then all the things that come with it. But it is kind of cool, too. There was just kind of a certain level of excitement that hit me when I opened this up, and it was kind of like, you know, just a basic burnt CD, one little black and white sleeve there with the names of the albums, and it's like, just go dig into the music and check it out. And something about that just got me kind of like really excited to get back to the simplicity of that. So that's really, really cool, man. I cannot wait. I'm going to go through and listen to every single song on every single one of these, and definitely let you know which ones kind of hit me, and you know, maybe based on that you can suggest some other bands or songs I might want to go check out. But I know I have to find something within all of that I really dig. Not to mention a few other LPs here, like the Sugar Cubes, Birthday, Motorhead's Inner City Life, and DJ Shadow. And then here's one I'm not actually quite sure about, Michael J. Oxygen. I haven't heard that before either, so I'm looking forward to kind of checking out all that stuff, which is awesome. And then I wanted to share something else that was sent in for the collage, which was sent by Elovox here and Emma. I had to make sure I put her name in there too. How's that for a cool piece for the collage? You know, Little Richard doing his thing with Rock On Mr. Hall of Fame, Rob and Emma, 2012. I mean, that's just perfect. That's exactly the kind of stuff I'm talking about in terms of putting together the collage. So I really, really appreciate that. That's a very, very cool piece. Not to mention some extras that he threw in there, which were a couple of just like, you know, event cards and stuff like that from some different bands and shows and that type of thing. And then he also sent a bunch of like little, not playing cards, but just little music cards here with, you know, bands like Warrant and Kiss and Ted Nugent and Iron Maiden. You know, just little cool collectible stuff. Paula Abdul, Annihilator, so even Taylor Dane. You know, just really, really cool stuff. So, Rob, I want to thank you a ton for that. Again, this is going to make just an awesome piece inside the collage. So that is so cool. Very, very cool stuff. So anyway, Memphis Vinyl Jim, thank you for the contest. And those are my entries, as well as thank you guys for what you've shared with me here. And yeah, again, I have to come back sometime soon here and draw a couple of names for some prizes. And then I will get back in touch with you guys. All right? Take care, BC.